Hello, everyone. This is Kripa Anand, and welcome to the Canadian SME Small Business Podcast. Today, we are exploring the strategic intersection of artificial intelligence, digital brand execution, and user experience. In 2026, building a dominant market presence isn't just about launching advanced product features or smart automation. It's about translating complex technical capabilities into clear, relationship driven stories that build genuine customer trust. Joining us today is Mikaela Nicholson, the Senior Manager of Marketing at Agile Bookkeeping. Mikaela is a dynamic B2B marketing leader who excels at brand management, national campaign execution, and digital growth. Since stepping into her role at Agile, she has spearheaded a comprehensive corporate rebrand, built a national lead generation infrastructure, and architected a high converting web footprint optimized for AI driven search models. So, before further ado, let's welcome this very special guest. Mikaela, welcome to the podcast. Such a pleasure to have you with us.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really looking forward to being here and chatting with you today.
So am I. Now, Mikaela, marketing departments are undergoing a massive evolution as generative AI tools alter how content is produced and also how consumers discover information online, right? So let's start the conversation by understanding from your extensive experience, how is AI changing modern B2B marketing strategies? Go ahead.
This is such a great question, and it's so top of mind for marketers right now. I
Mhm.
think the biggest shift is, well, we've seen many big shifts in the marketing world over the last decade. I think
Mhm.
every 5 years or so, we pretty much throw out everything we know and start again. And
Right.
AI is definitely a huge part of that. So I'd say the biggest shift right now is we kind of went to a strategy where we were doing as much content as possible all the time. And now we're
Mhm.
switching to really strategic content and we're really moving towards a place of like letting AI do a lot of the research, making sure that we're positioning ourselves in the proper markets
Mhm.
rather than going out as far as we can. We're going a lot more channeled in on where we want to go.
Right.
It's also changing the game as far as what can be done by a marketing team. So I think it's kind of this powerhouse where we can do a lot more in a very short amount of time.
Right.
It's allowing teams to move faster. It's allowing us to make smarter decisions.
Mhm.
But there's still a really key part of this, which I think we'll talk about as we go, but it's keeping the human element and not getting lost in the AI tools.
Wow, I think that was a very interesting answer because, as you said, human element. I think now with so much noise out there in the market, the importance of human element is becoming even more intense. So, I'd love to now explore building authentic customer trust, specifically in an automated digital world. So, as I said, with so much noise, there's also, a distrust factor that comes automatically when you open LinkedIn or Instagram. Because right now, almost every post and the writing style is similar, right? So, from that perspective, and also from a broader perspective, how can brands build trust in an AI driven digital world? Go ahead.
Great question. Super top of mind, I think, for marketers
Uh-huh.
right now, because while we do have this powerhouse at our fingertips, we need to come across as authentic, and people trust other people. We don't trust AI. And so it's really making sure that we're weaving our brand and our story through the work that we're doing. I think the biggest part of this is making sure that we're being authentic. We're sharing real stories about the people that we work with. We're
Mhm.
sharing real client interactions and how we're helping our real clients. We can use AI to structure the content and to put together kind of our strategic side of things, but the execution piece is still really human, and it's
Mhm.
making those touch points with other humans and connecting on that level, um, building trust in a way that I think is very traditional, like
Mhm.
the real face-to-face meetings and handshakes and
Right.
those important touch points. But I think it's also weaving your brand story through the work that you're doing. So, for example, for us, we're a bookkeeping business, and while bookkeeping itself is a pretty standard product across industries, everybody needs a bookkeeper.
Yeah.
The reason that we created Agile Bookkeeping is really to help small business owners. So I think we've weaved the messaging of our founders being small business owners, recognizing the need for better bookkeeping and better financial insights, and really
Mhm.
finding a way to meet that same emotional point that other business owners are at. And so I think that's been really strong in creating that trust and consistency with people, and really coming across as a human first company
Mhm.
rather than an AI first company.
Wow, I couldn't have asked for a better answer. That was so well articulated, Michaela. With what you said, I think grounding your marketing messaging in, transparent client case studies and verifiable domain authority. And as you said, the behind every designation is a human, right? That ensures that your brand remains highly distinct from generic digital noise out there. So thank you so much for shedding light on that. Now, let's look at balancing advanced technology with human-centered experiences. So, when you thought about this rebranding thing, when you brainstormed the strategy from the bottom up, how exactly did you balance automation with the human connection during Agile Bookkeeping's rebrand? So, take us into your mind.
Absolutely. Um, it's actually really interesting because this is such a big balance that we've had to find over this last year, was
Yeah.
how are we going to balance, the superpower of AI and making sure we can go fast and be very tech forward, while also, again, making sure that we're including the human element. So, from my perspective, the brand of a business is one of those pieces where I don't let AI touch. I
Mm-hmm.
think it's really important that you're choosing the direction, you're choosing the story, and you're putting meaningful time and effort into how is your brand going to be represented through everything that you do. And I know that brand can look like just colors and fonts, but it's so much deeper than that. It's making really specific decisions on how you think that your customer is going to interact with you and how you want to show up, both from a visual standpoint, but also from a messaging standpoint. So I think when we chose to do our rebrand, we actually went the opposite. We appeared, I think, previously as a bit of a more cold, tech forward company, and we
Mm-hmm.
wanted to build the human element into what we were doing. So it was softening the color palette, adding a little bit of more playfulness, integrating a lot more of the human connection piece, like client stories and
Mm-hmm.
photos of our clients, and making sure that we appeared more human forward than we were before. I think where the AI side came in is when we could really go as fast as possible with moving on things like our new website. We were able to use AI to build a new website. I think start to finish was within 3 weeks. And so
Wow.
it was an incredible way to use such a great tool. But I think we had that really strong foundation of a brand that we wanted to stand on, and
Uh-huh.
we were able to build from there. So rather than starting with the AI and having a loose foundation, we've built a really strong foundation in what we care about and then used AI to help us scale from there.
Beautiful. You're talking like such a true marketer, Michaela. I think with what you've built, firstly, congratulations, and so much more power to you. And building on what you've said, I'd like to use this opportunity to give a special message to all of our listeners right now, specifically to all of our audiences, the small and mid sized business owners. In 2026, letting your financial paperwork pile up, it's an operational liability. Michaela and the marketing team at Agile Bookkeeping have officially unveiled their brand new web engine at agilebk.com, positioning themselves at Canada's premier tech forward financial partner. Agile completely revolutionizes corporate accounting by providing CPA managed monthly bookkeeping updated on a weekly rhythm, driven by an advanced app and an integrated AI analyzer. So, if you're ready to get out of administrative mode and transform your books into accurate, real time dashboards that back stronger decisions, visit agilebk.com today to get a custom quote. Upgrade to a system that brings elite data automation straight to your balance sheet. Now, coming back to you, Michaela, what you said, highlighting the dedicated human experts, standing right behind your automated process, it turns a sterile tech tool into a deeply trusted corporate partner. So, once again, kudos to everything that you've built so far. Now, moving ahead, let's explore turning a website into a powerful lead generation engine. So, I'm sure everyone will be super interested in this. So, what makes a website effective for both SEO, and also in today's time, AI search visibility?
This is a really good question. I think it's something we're balancing every day too, and I think we don't have all the answers yet. So it's a really cool journey of being part of the change rather than adapting after the change.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think first and foremost, you have to understand the intent of your website. So for us, it really is a lead generation website. So building a website that looks and feels good for humans to read is at the top priority for us.
Mm-hmm.
But then, of course, you have to be ranking for SEO and AI search. And so I think it really comes into the details of how you structure your pages. SEO
Mm-hmm.
research has been around for a long time. It's still just as important now as it used to be. I think you need to make sure that you're hitting the right points, you have the right kind of content that you're serving, you're structuring your pages well with your um, HTML tags and all of that. And then the added layer is making sure that you're answering questions because that's what AI really cares about is they want to know if somebody's asking them a question, they want to be able
Mm-hmm.
to serve up your content in an answer that makes a lot of sense.
Right.
So things like frequently asked questions are really great to add to pages. And these can look very natural to a person reading the page. They don't feel like you've just stuffed a bunch of keywords into a page. I think they answer questions that they want to know too. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but it's making sure you keep that balance. Don't just stuff a page full of keywords and AI search terms because that won't feel organic to the reader.
Mm-hmm.
Structure your HTML, add the right tags, and make sure you run your website through AI search tools. Ask
Mm-hmm.
it what it needs to make sure it's reading it properly. Use those tools kind of back at themselves in a sense, like use them to check and make sure that they can read what you've produced.
Definitely. Again, beautifully explained. Formatting your site's semantic structure so that the advanced language models can easily read and cite your businesses instantly. It definitely secures your visibility on the next frontier of search. So that's amazing to know. Mikaela, let's now look at scaling growth through insights across diverse industries. So, how exactly has this cross sector experience shaped your B2B growth strategy? And also, there's another part to this question. You are so passionate about what you do. So, I'd love for you to tell our listeners the story behind how did you get into doing what you're doing today? Is this something that you were always inclined towards, even as a kid in school and college? Or is it something that you stumbled upon in your career? So go ahead.
Thank you for this. It is always such a personal journey, and I think that I've found a lot of love for the work that I do. I think the beginning for me really started in a love for cohesiveness and beautiful things. I really fell in love with the graphic design side of marketing early on in my career and being able to translate complex concepts into really visual
Mhm.
representations. So I started, well, yeah, I've been a little bit around in my career. I started in B2B. I moved into tech and I worked at a nonprofit for a long time. And now I'm back in the tech industry. And so I think that whole range of experience has given me such a good understanding of each organization, of course, has different needs, and
Mhm.
you have to tailor your approach to each of those. But I think what remains the same is what we've talked about a lot already is you need a story that people connect with. You need to be selling or providing something that helps makes people's lives easier or better
Yeah.
or fills a gap that they don't have already. I really appreciated my time at the nonprofit that I worked at because it helped me get a hands-on experience to how the work I was doing was impacting the people's lives. I think marketing can be one of those things that seems like an add-on to a company, but I think it really does make a difference in
Mhm.
what people experience from your brand often comes from the marketers at work. And so making sure that we're creating an experience that people really resonate with and continuing to tailor that experience as trends change so that you're always on top of the ball with marketing changes, but also still continuing to choose to provide a really strong brand that people will continue to resonate with over time.
Beautiful. I love how you're using all these diverse cross-sector skills and putting them all together to finally give back to the community as well, right? And the small and medium business owners. So
Mhm.
thank you again for doing what you're doing, Mikaela. Now, I'm loving this conversation, and definitely we'd love for you to be back, hopefully, for an in person episode that we do the next with you. But for now, today, Michaela, before we let you go, if there's one final piece of advice that you'd leave with our listeners today, specifically for the businesses modernizing their brand and they don't want to lose that personal connection, right? If you could whisper one thing into their ears, what would you say and why?
I think the one piece of advice that I would share if I could would be you don't have to choose between being efficient and being human. You can use both of them together. I think if you can use the technology to make your human part stronger, that's the sweet spot. Don't treat AI as another person. Treat it as a powerhouse that can support you as a person, but still use your human decisions and your emotional decisions to guide the work that you're doing, because that's what's going to come across to people.
Wow, $1 million advice right there, Michaela. It was such a pleasure having you on the show. Thank you so much for being here and doing this with us.
Thank you for having me. It's been such a pleasure chatting with you.
All right, that was Mikaela Nicholson from Agile Bookkeeping, a masterclass in navigating the AI marketing shift, designing high conversion web engines optimized for answer engines, and understanding how to balance next generation automation with deep corporate trust in 2026. To all the listeners, thank you so much for tuning in to the Canadian SME Small Business Podcast. Be sure to subscribe and visit CanadianSME.ca for more such resources. To learn more about how we are supporting the ecosystem beyond the platform, please visit the Canadian SME Small Business Foundation at smbfoundation.ca. And lastly, a very special thank you to our partners, UPS, our shipping partner, and ADP, our HR partner, for their ongoing commitment to empowering small businesses across Canada. I'll see you all in the next episode. Kripa Anand signing off.